Hello, we are Sornia. As always, a delight and a opportunity to interact with you. It brings us great pleasure. And yes, so things are moving along really well. I'm told that this is my first time doing something like this with you. So this is new for me. I may come off as a bit awkward or something, so please be patient. We want you maybe in this moment, to understand what is required of you, of the medium, and of us to have this interaction. And it's one of aligning our vibration and frequencies. We lower ours the way you understand it. You are raising yours. The medium herself in the process of this is opening up, and she has raised her vibration in order to match ours. So it's an alignment. You who hear these messages are aligned with us when you are, always aligned with us. You may not be aware of that alignment, but you are always aligned with us. So for this to work through any physical means, we mean an individual, a human being, it does require that certain conditions be met. And these conditions are such that the conduit for this information, being the medium who is doing this, must at all times during this process be as much of an open channel for information coming to us. So the information comes through with the greatest amount of clarity and the least amount of bias, you would say, on the part of those certain conditions that the medium herself in human form has that might influence the information. So you, as recipients of this information, are not just recipients. You are in connection with us through your thoughts and feelings. And this has been shared with you before. But in this moment right now that I am choosing to allow my consciousness to align with the frequency and vibration of the individual that is taking this information, is a delicate process. It's not something that's just done. And it is a process that can have a drain on the physical form. So you who are receiving these messages through the efforts of the medium and myself to align with all three of us, three factions, right? Aligning. We are all connected. So remember that we are all connected, correct? So what we're doing is aligning our consciousness in this moment. So even though you are hearing this at a delayed time frame, you are aligning your consciousness with us in a unconscious way, if you will. So keep that in mind, because as you go through your day, you are emanating your frequency and vibration out into not just the world, but out into everything that is and ever will be. It just doesn't stop in your own little realm. So energy, which always exists no matter what. You can't destroy it. You can't create it. It always is. That is essentially source, God, creator, is that energy, much more than that. But that's why it's always is, always has been, always will be that. So that radiates out, but that's you as well. Your thoughts, your feelings, your emotional state doesn't just radiate out into your little world. It radiates out into what you might call eternity, forever land. It goes out and out and out. And it doesn't dissipate and it doesn't lessen in its intensity or degree of intensity as it travels out. It stays the same. So when you are in a state of distress, you are sending out distress signals out, and it goes out and out and out, and it stays at that level of distress. It doesn't go out into eternity. We'll use that term, forever land, beyond your physical realm. It goes out beyond that. That's going out beyond. That's what you're contributing to the all when you have a distress signal, okay? We, of course, and you, when you are with us on the other side, are able to mitigate the negative repercussions of, say, a distressful signal, a negative signal. That is what you use the term healed here when it meets with the energy of the Christ consciousness or source, God. Again, you have many terms for what you understand the divinity. When it meets with that, that's where it is dissolved in the sense that it is loved. It is taken in and it is loved. It is nurtured. It is understood. And that part of you, that consciousness that also resides in forever land, also is partaking in that nurturing. So when you are in the physical earth reality, it has more of a detrimental effect when it's a distressful emotion or distress signal, shall we say. It has a more profound effect in your world as you know it in the physical world, and outside the physical world it has less of a detrimental effect due to the number of souls or entities and the energy and such that is beyond this physical plane that is able to lovingly transmute that energy into a higher vibration, because we receive it as frequency and vibration over here. But in your world, as you know, it lays there and it reaches out in a literally magnetic way. If you were able to see with your physical eyes the way an emotion, whether it be a negative one or a positive one, using your language, the heavier ones, the darker ones, compared to the lighter, more joyful ones, depending on what that energy, that emotion is, how it goes out, it's seeking companionship. It's magnetic. So what you are sending out into your world is what that emotion is looking for. Camaraderie, if you will. You have expressions for this. Misery loves company. You infect each other with your joy. So again, you are aware of these things. We have been sharing these things since it's been possible to share these things with you. But the emphasis we are giving them at this time is crucial to what it is that you are experiencing and will be experiencing in the coming months. Again, we're focusing on a transitional period that you are going through. Once again, it's always that way. You keep allowing yourselves to learn, to grow, to expand, to teach others. You keep doing that. You stay open and receptive. So more information comes. You go through another phase. You are allowing for these energies to move through you. And what you gain is greater insight, greater compassion, more loving. We're seeing this. You have your five senses. Many of you are really awakening to your intuitive senses, which are many. They're not just your intuition. That intuitive sense that you have is so delicate but strong at the same time. Yes, it's a paradox, but that's exactly what it is. It knows how to bend. That intuitive, it knows how to be fragile and gentle as well as strong and forceful. There are so many different facets to the intuitive sense that's why it takes time to understand it in human form. When you're not in human form, it's just a natural state of being. But those of you who have been aware of your intuitive sense, that extra sense, noticing how it's more acute, noticing how you're more aware of it, how it's really being more fine-tuned. You are only at the tip of the iceberg because you have all chosen to be conduits for that divine light and love, for that Christ consciousness to come through you. Your natural state of knowing your intuition and all of its facets is becoming more revealed to you. So you want to be cognizant of this. You want to be aware of it to the degree that you are able to assist it by being open and receptive to it. There's nothing to fear here. Some of you, and this is why we decided to have this little chat with you, some of you have what we might call hidden fears of opening yourselves up in deeper and more meaningful ways to allowing what you call your intuitive sense to come through in a greater way. You say, no, that's not true. I want it to come through, but you don't. There's a fear of not understanding it. There's a fear of bringing in something that might be disguising itself as your intuition. There's a lot of mistrust and doubt around it. We are telling you this is happening in this coming, well, you're already in it, this time frame that you are experiencing. That's the point of it. That intuitive sense will be enhanced, and you can shut it down through doubt and fear, and that's okay. Again, it's choice. But why bother doing that? Why bother being in your world at this time if you don't have your intuitive sense to guide you? And believe us when we tell you that there's so much more to your understanding of your intuitive sense that is waiting for you to embrace and bring forward. So I'm told that I'm a little forceful and hard in my way of sharing. So please, there's no judgment here. There's none of that. I'm just being told that I'm coming on in a strong way, but not to scold you, but to inform you. So we have so much that is planned for the near future. And it is really such an opportunity for all of you to stand in your truth, to claim your sovereignty, to understand your divinity in all aspects of it. There's so much to understand. You may say, well, isn't it just love and compassion? Oh, but what does that mean? And you're ready for it because your world needs it. Your world is really revealing itself. Not all of it. There's so much good in your world, but you are being shown what's not of good in your world. And that's why many of you are seeing the negative at this time, which we've shared with you about darkness coming to the light. So, really to kind of end this and have you ponder your current state, remember, you are divine beings, eternal beings, consciousness. And a sliver of that consciousness has decided to come into human form to help humanity to find freedom. That's what you're doing. Those who are receiving these messages, that's exactly what you're doing. And you are doing it. You are awakening many by taking care of yourselves, by doing what it is that your heart tells you to do. We see this. Your hearts and minds are aligning in a beautiful way. So keep doing this. There's nothing that can stop you. And there's nothing to fear, ever, ever. Truly. That is all for now. We love you very much, and we are so, so grateful to all of you. We are Sornia. Goodbye.